I got you.
Okay. All right. Let's talk. 1 in 5 American adults suffer from mental illness. And the hard pill to swallow? Only about 50% receive treatment. Actively, anyway. So, hi, I'm Hayley Gallo, and I spent the last semester studying the stigma surrounding mental health and receiving treatment, such as medication. Before I get into everything I learned this semester, I want to tell you guys a little story. So back when I first got my license, it was one of the first times I went and picked up my medication, because I'm not going to be afraid to say it. I myself suffer from several different kinds of mental illness, and I'm not going to say that it doesn't suck and that I'm not taking medication, because I am. But I was getting my meds. The pharmacist, he kind of gave me a couple weird looks, and it was really not nice. So I went to pay, he handed me my meds, and then looked me up and down and essentially told me that I don't look like I need them. I'm too young to need those medications. And honestly, that was one of the things that made me get into this, made me want to research this topic. So, ever since I decided to be open about this, I've never received more unsolicited advice and opinions. The wide-eyed looks and the, those are really bad for you, right? Comments, because I'm open about this, are way too many to count. Now, I spent the last semester researching this stigma, specifically towards medications. So I found that there are 3 different kinds. So there's public stigma, which is the discriminatory and negative attitudes of others towards those suffering from mental illness. There's self-stigma, which is the internal negative attitude and shame that comes with having a mental illness. It's not necessarily felt by everyone, but I'm sure everyone eventually at one point has had a glimmer of it. Lastly, we have institutional. Institutional stigma is more systemic. So it's basically the policies of governments and private organizations that are limiting, intentionally or unintentionally limiting, the opportunities of those with mental illness. So while I was doing all my research, to get here, I discovered a few different things. Of that 50% statistic I told you about earlier, 38%, according to a study, 38% did not receive treatment because they were afraid of judgment. So one way that I got my information about this, just how debilitating this stigma can be, was I did interviews. I did several interviews with staff at Riverbend Community Mental Health. All of these interviews were incredibly helpful and beneficial. However, I don't have time to quote all of them. So I will quote 2 of them today. I was talking with Chris Flynn. He is not only a nurse, he has a son who is on the spectrum. So he's dealt with this firsthand. But one thing that he said that really stuck out to me was about the impact that families have on people's willingness to take medication and receive treatment. He said to me, family is one of the greatest influences on someone's ability to accept treatment. I have a patient whose family is very against medication and treatment in general, which has made this patient stop taking their meds. So this really stood out because it really emphasized the impact that a familial and communal connection has on someone's willingness to receive treatment and medication. And then I talked with Lori Talbot. She and I focused a little bit more on the generalized population, the overall effect. So she's a senior case manager. And she said to me, my patients often have to reach out to the Department of Health and Human Services, and they want the case managers to be there during the phone call. And if the person on the phone is not aware that case managers are there, I've seen them treat patients disrespectfully, disregard the patient, say cruel things. I've even witnessed this in hospitals and for medical professionals. People are brushing off my patients and disregarding their physical illnesses because of their mental. So that really emphasized to me how important the need for education is within this field, even for people who are active in the medical field, but they may not have any idea about mental health. Now, I know you're probably wondering what the heck that has to do with the two paintings. So while I was doing my research, I also started a two-piece painting set for Riverbend. I'm donating it to them because they're one of the foremost accessible places in Concord and the Concord area for mental health resources. So I wanted to give them something that could add a little bit of understanding and lighten up the offices, because let's be honest here, they're very drab. So after a lot of paint, a lot of time, and a lot of anxiety, I ended up with these two paintings. And actually, that picture is not entirely accurate, because I ended up doing some updates. But I really wanted to represent the diversity that is within this field, that everyone in this population has. It's no box. You can't put them in a box and expect them to be fine. I wanted to use my opportunity to talk and be open about this to make people understand that it's okay to reach out, that happy pills are not happy. And that term is highly stigmatizing. It ends up creating a negative connotation about that. And nobody likes that, let's be honest here. And I've found throughout all of this and working on my paintings and doing my research that those terms, such as happy pills, often make people shy away. So that stigma, that damage that it does, that's not completely ignorable, I guess. Anyway, we need to end the stigma. It's okay to reach out for help, and we need to support those in our community and families that suffer from mental illness. Thank you. Are there any questions?
When are you going to put the two pieces at Riverbend?
I'm trying to get them in this week.
Awesome.
Why does it say Hope and Hayley?
Oh, so it's Riverbend's, I think, 50th anniversary. 60th? Whatever, Mom. 60th anniversary, and their slogan this year to celebrate the impact they've had is hope and healing, to welcome people with open arms and make people feel a sense of comfort, even though this is a very scary and impactful time in their life.
So I personally know the significance of the semicolons, but I don't know if everyone here does. Would you be able to share?
So there's a semicolon on this. I know you probably can't see it, but the semicolon is often used in the mental health community to represent moving on, because when you're writing something and you put a semicolon in, you're choosing to extend your sentence instead of ending it. And that is something I included because of the impacts that mental illness can have on someone's life and the desire maybe to end it.
Thank you.